So today we're going to be doing a full detail on this Honda CR-V. This is a regular customer of mine. I see this vehicle about every 6 months.
In April of 2022, we applied the Bombshell ceramic coating.
This customer actually, at the 1-year update, we were having some issues because for fear of scratching the paint, she wasn't putting any sort of contact on the paint. She was just rinsing it off with a high pressure hose, maybe at the car wash, and then letting it air dry. And because of that issue, we had some major mineral deposits. We had to do a pretty strong acidic water spot treatment. We were able to bring back the coating. We put a topper on top of it, educated her a little bit on how it does need some contact. You do want to make sure you're drying it to try to avoid any sort of water spotting issues, because that can be the #1 issue with coatings. We've said this 1,000 times on this channel. The paint actually is in pretty great condition. There's hardly any major swirls or scratches, some light ones here and there. So we're gonna do an update for you guys on our Bombshell ceramic coating. We're gonna do a quick interior cleaning for this customer. Really great condition. We don't need to shampoo seats. We will shampoo our mats. We're gonna blow everything out first, and then we're gonna get started on the exterior, get that done. It is a gorgeous day. I feel like detailing business for me is finally starting to pick up. I know for a lot of us detailers, it's been a hard winter. I feel like because of the economy, if you're having to choose $11 for a dozen eggs or a clean car, some people have been choosing eggs.
Oh my! That was a gunshot!
Kenneth.
Everyone get your heads down!
Kenneth.
That was a drive-by attempt, Frank!
Kenneth, that was a neighbor's car backfiring.
They're coming for the eggs!
Kenneth!
They're coming for the eggs!
Seriously, business is starting to pick up slowly but surely. So for those of you detailers who are like me, maybe a home-based detailing business and business has been slow, keep chugging along. God is faithful, He will provide. Keep praying those details in. I'm so thankful for repeat customers like this that have just trusted me over the years. This is actually one of my longest, most loyal customers. So very thankful to all my customers for continuing to trust me with their vehicles, for the referrals, for the recommendations. It means the world to me. So we're gonna over deliver with this customer, and for that we're gonna actually be testing out some new products. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be testing out today for you guys. This is a UK-based company, but we are going to be trying out their release. This is their concentrated citrus pre-wash. Next up, for the exterior, after we do our water spot treatment, we're going to be testing out their shield. This looked really intriguing to me. This is a ceramic foam sealant. You actually foam this on with your snow foam bottle or lance, and you would dilute this basically 1 to 4. Foam it on, immediately rinse off. So we're gonna make sure that we do this in the shade. We're gonna make sure that we have no issues with the paint before we do this. This was the one that I was the most intrigued to test out, so I'm excited to work with it. You can see right now we're kind of in full sun, so we might actually put the canopy up for this one. It's supposed to be close to 65 today, but I wanna make sure that I am in a safe environment. So with our release and with our shield, you want to make sure that you are in the shade with these products, that you don't let the products dry on there, and that we follow the instructions. Once we are done with the outside, then we're going to shift over to the interior. It is not bad whatsoever, but I am always looking for products that are going to help clean, also help reduce bacteria levels, help reduce odors, and give me good results. So we're going to be testing out their Refresh. This is an antiviral, antibacterial cleaner. Next up, I am always on the hunt for a good glass cleaner. I don't feel like I have found the one yet. It's been close, and honestly, it's not even a glass cleaner. It's a panel prep wipe from Phoenix AOD. Their Paleus, you dilute it 1 to 1. It is a fantastic glass cleaner. But whenever someone comes out with one, I don't know why, I am a sucker for trying it out. So we're gonna see if Vision, their dedicated glass cleaner, can actually give us streak-free results. So we've got 4 products here that we're gonna be putting to the test with Mile Deep. First, we need to go ahead and blow out our interior, and then we will come in and do our exterior wash, check in on our ceramic coating, do our water spot treatment, apply our topper, and then we can get our interior finished and done.
These are the type of interiors that I absolutely love working on, where we can blow majority of the dirt out with our forced air. This is the McKee's 37 variable speed blower. It's a great alternate or substitute for those of you that don't have a compressor and tornador gun. But we were able to blow out a majority of the dust and loose soiling with this, so that way when it was time to vacuum, it only took about 10-15 minutes for us to just fine-tune things with our vacuum step. When it comes to my standard operating procedures or SOP, I always will blow out the interior and possibly vacuum it if it's really dirty before we wash it. Because when we do the door jambs, we might get a little bit of water on the interior and I don't want that dirt becoming mud. So for my processes, I typically will vacuum or at least do a quick blowout of the interior before we move on to the exterior. When it comes to detailing, I absolutely love this 13 by 13 pop-up tent from Coleman. This gives me way more shade than just your typical 10 by 10 tent. It's super easy to set up. I can get it set up in under 2 minutes by myself, but it gives more than sufficient shade and height clearance for a majority of the vehicles that I work on. First, on the exterior, we're going to touchless clean our door jambs with Dark Fury from Superior Products at a 5:1 dilution ratio. Next up, we're going to use 2 products from Vonix to clean our tires and wheels. First up is Vexus, their wheel and engine cleaner. This is a degreaser that has really nice thick green foam. It has almost a green apple scent, but you can see fantastic cleaning capabilities.
We go from green foam to white to brown.
This is an acid-free formula that helps to break down brake dust and grime and is safe on most surfaces on your exterior. I was actually surprised with how dirty these wheels were and how well Vexus did at cleaning them. Now we're moving on to our tire, and for that we're using one of my favorite tire cleaners. This is Delete. This cuts through all of that browning very quickly, but it's not going to be overly aggressive where we dry out the tires. I always do 2 rounds of cleaning just to make sure we have a thorough clean tire. We're going to rinse that off, and now let's go ahead and inspect our Bombshell ceramic coating. Knowing that we had some water spotting issues the last time I saw this vehicle about a year ago, I'm anticipating that we might have a similar situation. I can see that we do have some clogging going on. A lot of that is just from road film and dirt that has possibly sat on the paint for too long. You can see a difference in our hydrophobics on the lower kind of 2/3 of the panel, and a lot of that is very typical with ceramic coated vehicles that have an excess amount of dirt and road film on them.
So this is a little bit of my issue with all of these bottles that have very similar branding that I'm not used to. I grabbed the wrong bottle. We just foamed on the sealant on a dirty panel. We have it mixed up. We will definitely test it near the end, but rewind, start over. Let's go ahead and see if our release can remove the dirt on this panel. We're gonna find another bottle to mix it up with, and honestly, we might just foam it on with our foam cannon. I'm not familiar with the Focus mixing bottle sprayer that Mile Deep has, but let's go ahead and foam this on like I would traditionally and then see what happens. We should be able to use this in a foam cannon versus a high quality mixing bottle sprayer. Can you see? It's all right here. I'm tired. This is what happens when you stay up late and there's daylight savings time. So we already did a high pressure rinse on this, and you can see we still have some staining from all the road splatter, possible mud. We definitely have a difference in hydrophobics from here down. So we're gonna foam this panel down, and I wanna see, 1, if we can remove this staining, 2, if our hydrophobics perform any differently after removing some of the dirt on the surface. They say anywhere from 1 to 1 to 1 to 10. I don't feel like we have heavy soiling with this, and being that it's coated, we shouldn't have to go super heavy or concentrated. 2 ounces to the amount of water that we had didn't necessarily give us the thickest of foam. I actually like foaming pre-soaks though that work more like this, because it is actually softening, loosening, and pulling down with it. When we have thick shaving foam that sticks to it, while it is fun and cool to see, it's not actually moving. It's not pulling the dirt down with it. It's still kind of sitting. You can see almost like an initial layer behind here and then this top layer. So looks a little bit like pans, maybe a little bit of dual surfactants going on. But you can definitely see where the surface is cleaner after a majority of our citrus prefoam has run off. You don't want to let these products ideally dry, but I can actually see a little bit of repellency, where it's quite possible our coating underneath is starting to repel this product. It's just interesting to kind of see how it's drying and falling off of the panel. It's definitely a true snow foam. We might add a little bit more to this just to see what our foam difference looks like. But typically your citrus foaming pre-soaks, they're not going to be like heavy on foam. They're going to be heavier on cleaning and doing just what we're seeing here. We have a clear improvement in our hydrophobics. More sheeting. I didn't touch it. We still have a little bit of that staining, but it removed the heavier dirt that was in it. It's just like a light, almost like a light clay. But we're gonna foam it down with our soap before we do our contact wash, just to give us a little bit of extra lubrication. But you can see how just removing that film has brought back life to this coating. Very nice to see. We're gonna add a little bit more soap to our foam cannon just to give us enough dwell time to get around the rest of this vehicle. But we're gonna foam it down, let it sit, and then rinse it off.
I added an additional 2 ounces of foam to our foam cannon, and you can see we do have slightly thicker foam, but it's not to the point where it's sticking to the paint. And honestly, like I said earlier, this is the type of foam that I prefer, where we're going to pull the dirt with it as it's running off the panel. I wouldn't classify this as a touchless soap, but it did its job at greatly reducing the amount of dirt on the surface before we come in to do our contact wash. Most touchless soaps are going to be really high pH, which means they can weaken and almost strip your protection. So the fact that this can clean really well, but also isn't going to strip your protection, is a convenient point to consider. After we did our release, now we're going to come in and actually foam the vehicle down again with Clean by Pan the Organizer's shampoo. This actually had a lot thicker foam, which is what I'm looking for in this moment, because as I'm doing my contact wash, I'm looking for that extra lubrication and for the soap to cling as I'm working my way around the vehicle. I love this soap. It smells so fantastic. It cleans really well, is pH neutral, and just does an excellent job at safely cleaning your paint. After doing our contact wash, a light clay towel treatment just to remove some grit on our lower panels, you can see a definite improvement in our hydrophobics, but we do have more sheeting. So we're going to use IGL Delete. This is a stronger water spot remover. This is what worked last time I did a water spot treatment on this vehicle. And we're gonna see if we can remove some mineral deposits and bring back our hydrophobics on our ceramic coating. Knowing that this coating is 3 years in, chances are we're not gonna see it look like day one. But I am seeing an improvement in our hydrophobics. You can see water was sticking to it prior to doing this treatment. And now you can actually see we've breathed some life into it. We have more sheeting, and you can see now that we've removed the mineral deposits, our coating is actually able to shine through.
Next up, we're going to test out their Shield ceramic foam sealant. Now, this was my first time working with this product. I hadn't done a ton of research. I was just going by the instructions on the bottle. And they did say to foam it on, but I was kind of curious, even after I mixed up the bottles, could this be applied with a sprayer? Because not a lot of people have a pressure washer and a foam gun. So for those that don't have a foam cannon, I wanted to kind of test out what this product would look like if we just sprayed it on and rinsed it off. I can tell that it is improving our hydrophobics, but I think the key point with this product is to foam it on versus a sprayer. You're not going to get as tight hydrophobics
and you might not get as much durability. So there is a specific component within this product that I think it's designed to be foamed on. So for those of you that want to try this product and you don't have a pressure washer and a foam cannon, I'm not sure you're going to see a huge benefit from this product the way they designed it. We will be testing this product out more in the future and testing different application methods to see if you're going to have a benefit with one direction or the other. And I think if you are going to just spray it on, you want to give it more dwell time, because that does allow the coating or the sealant to bond better with the paint versus just immediately spraying and rinsing off. So for those that are using a spray bottle, let it sit on the paint. Just make sure you're doing it out of direct sunlight. Make sure you subscribe and hit that follow button, because we will be testing this product in a foam cannon in the future, because for me as a detailer, this is that perfect product that I'm looking to maintain my customers' vehicles with. Quick and easy and durable results. So I will be putting this to the test to see if this would fit that mark for me. After rinsing off the remainder of our shield, we're going to come in with our Ego blower and blow a majority of the water off the vehicle, but we're going to leave a little bit of water left behind for us to dry it and fine tune the paint. And to help safely dry, we're going to use lightning detail spray from Detail Coat.
This, I think, is one of their best smelling products. That is like a pineapple. Oh, it smells like a beautiful day on the beach with a pineapple drink in your hand. Everything that they make reminds me of the beach.
This is quickly becoming one of my favorite drying aids on the market, not only just for the smell experience, but also how it helps my towel dry better.
So the trick with using products like this, less is more. I like to use smaller towels when drying, that way they don't drag on the ground. We put 1 or 2 sprays on our towel before we touch it, and we're gonna soak this in a microfiber wash or an APC afterwards, because this will lose its absorbency. But I've actually used these towels time and time again. They're not the most absorbent towels at this point. I've had these for years, but products like this, it's actually helping my towel be more absorbent or dry better. But you want to have a little bit of water on that panel. You don't want to dry it, or you don't want to blow it until it's bone dry. Just get the big stuff off. Blow out your handles and your mirrors, just so you don't have annoying water dripping. But then 1 or 2 sprays with that residual water left, and you've dialed in the paint. This stuff smells so good. It goes on so evenly. And when you leave that little bit of water on there, that's gonna help prevent streaking. Now I can say this, our Mild Deep ceramic sealant spray did leave some speckles on certain parts that maybe I let it sit on there too long. The parts that were in the direct sun dried on there too quickly, but I did remove it very easily by just kind of massaging it with my damp towel. So it didn't stain it, but there was a little bit of spotting or residual like high spots, because the sun, it does not like. But that's why they say do it in the shade on a cool panel. I have no issues on the rest of the paint. The only areas were literally the 2 inches that I had in the sun right there. It just set up too quickly. So definitely not a sun-friendly product. It's not the most hydrophobic product, but I can say we have really nice gloss and shine. And if you guys are considering picking up a bottle of this lightning detail spray, do it. This stuff is absolutely amazing. 2 to 3 sprays on a panel. I was able to dry the vehicle faster. My little towel, this little towel, I was able to dry this entire CRV with this one towel, because somehow this magic elixir made this towel just work better. I had a good bit of water still left on the panels. Normally that would soak up this towel. I don't know what's in this bottle. Definitely a ceramic sealant. Smells amazing, works great. We have really nice gloss and slickness and extra lubrication as we're drying. So for those of you that have protection or just looking for a fantastic quick detailer, definitely enjoying this.
When it comes to maintaining my customers' vehicles, I always prefer to use products like this on the interior. Not only are they safe, gentle cleaners, I don't have to worry about burning or staining the plastic surfaces. They clean, they work well, they smell great, and they also go after things on a microscopic level. When you think about how much we live in the inside of our vehicles, we eat, we sleep sometimes in them, and sometimes they don't get cleaned for months on end. Products like these give us a little bit more peace of mind knowing that we're safely cleaning and helping to reset the bacteria and just germ levels to make it safe for those you love. Last but not least, on this interior, we need to dial in all of our glass surfaces, and for that, we're going to be testing out Vision. In my 7+ years of detailing, I have learned that not all glass cleaners are created equal. I feel like a lot of companies overpromise and underdeliver. Streaking is always an issue, and a lot of it does come down to the microfiber towels that you're using, making sure you're using a 2-towel method, a clean towel, and trying to work out of direct sunlight. But you can see I don't really have that option right now. We are working a little bit in direct sunlight. Hopefully we're not going to have any sort of streaking issues, but for those that are wanting a product that's going to work really well, I was actually very impressed with this product. I think out of all of the products that I used for Mile Deep in this detail, this was my favorite. It did exactly what it needed to do. It cleaned our glass and left a streak-free result. This product did have a pretty strong IPA smell to it, which honestly didn't surprise me considering how well it worked. Some of your more effective glass cleaners on the market are more IPA or alcohol based, but this had a nice work time to it. It didn't evaporate or flash off so quickly that I wasn't able to work with it and get the clean results that I was looking for. A lot of technique comes down to making sure you have proper towels, laundering them properly, aren't going too crazy heavy with your solution, because whatever cleaner you put down, you have to remove. But you can see just that quick 50-50, this cleaned really, really well. So my final thoughts on release, I think it did a great job at removing the dirt and restoring some of the hydrophobic protection on the ceramic coating. It is not a high alkaline citrus pre-soak, so for that fact, I actually like it because you can use this more frequently in situations like you have a coated vehicle or protection on it that you want to do a safe pre-wash. I think something like this is ideal. You could definitely see it working, and I could definitely see the benefits with a product like this. Shield, I think I want to play around with it a little bit more. Jury is still out on whether or not you could actually see 6 months of protection with this. I think honestly, maybe I need to add more, and maybe I need to let it sit a little bit longer than immediately rinse off. But you don't want to let it sit on there too long, because then you might have some spots that you need to rub off. Now, they are easily removed with a damp towel, but for me, I think it's a great way to add quick protection. I was expecting a little bit more hydrophobics, but again, maybe I needed to go a little bit heavier with our dilution. So I think jury's still out. We're gonna play with this a little bit more, but initial thoughts, added protection. I just don't know how long it's going to last. On the interior, a refresh did a really great job of cleaning all of our surfaces, leaving behind a nice matte finish. Wasn't sticky, wasn't heavy on residue, but it cleaned. It left behind a nice fresh scent on the interior. But the fact that this is antiviral and antibacterial, I think this is going to be a more frequent everyday product that I use for customers, because you don't know the amount of germs that you're dealing with. So to have something like this that can clean, leave behind a nice finish, is going to be something that I would definitely add to my arsenal. Vision, I think honestly, is a great glass cleaner. I was doing this in direct sunlight, and you can see a huge improvement on clarity of glass. I didn't have to struggle with it. We were able to get streak-free results. Very heavy on the alcohol odor, which I actually kind of like. Your better glass cleaners have more IPA or alcohol in them, but it didn't evaporate so quickly that I wasn't able to work with it. So all in all, honestly, out of all the products, I think Vision is one of my favorite products just because it works so well. Glass is an Achilles heel for many detailers. I'm always on the lookout for a really great glass cleaner, and I think this one would fall in that category. So all in all, I think really great products. I'm not going to say the best, but I think they're great. They're unique. They were enjoyable. They did the job, and that's exactly what I wanted them to do today.
But we are all done. We're gonna let the customer know it's ready to pick up. We were able to get great results with these products, and I know the customer is gonna be really happy with the end result. We're probably going to recommend that they get a new ceramic coating applied next time we see this vehicle. So stay tuned for that. The coating is still there. It is not dead, but it is sheeting, and you can tell it's kind of on its way out. So at that point, I would tell the customer, if you're wanting fresh protection, let's polish and recoat in the future. Bombshell, I think honestly, it exceeded my expectations for something that you would purchase from an everyday detailer, someone who just had a product that he worked with a chemist and designed it. I don't know if it's white label, I don't know if it's private label, but it is good. It did its job. The paint looks fantastic. There's barely any swirls and scratches on this paint because the customer hasn't had to be aggressive to remove it. And honestly, I think that for itself speaks for itself. But there you have it. We're all done with this detail. Everything turned out fantastic. If you guys have any questions for me, let me know your questions in the comments section down below. Make sure you guys give us a thumbs up and subscribe so that way you don't miss out on any of our future details. But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next detail.